Undereating is a massive problem, especially for people like me that train a lot. And it can cause massive effects both on your health and especially on the mental clarity and feeling relaxed and focused and being able to talk clearly too. And especially for me, as I'm a pro football player, being able to train at the highest level, eating enough food makes a really, really, really big impact, like crazy. And for me, like, I'm always trying to optimize my health, and I count my calories a lot and really take care of what I eat. Try to eat all real food and really try to slim down to have like the craziest six-pack ever. The problem with that is that I still train a lot and do extra after every training, and if I'm not eating enough calories and carbohydrates, your body will firstly spare that energy in other places, and secondly, if your muscle glycogen stores and liver glycogen stores are quite depleted, you will also feel it, especially in training when you use all those glycogen stores. If you don't have enough, both your sharpness in the brain will be much, much, much worse, and also your focus, your relaxed feeling, your life energy, everything. It makes a massive difference. And I've noticed it so much because this last 4 or 5 days in training I felt so bad, like crazy. And also during the afternoons too, I've not felt that wow feeling. And I've also been trying to slim down even more, weight-wise. So maybe restricting the carbs and calories a bit more. Still eating much, but not too much. And when I'm also training so much and don't eat enough carbohydrates for all that I train, it can cause massive differences in how I feel and perform. And it can also be really easy to forget about getting the proper energy and the proper fuel from food, because still, when you train hard, you get the energy from what you eat. And what you eat is so key for everything. And it's not about, I eat healthy and I eat my salads, my fiber first, balanced meals. No. Because if you train loads, you cannot eat all of those calories just from broccoli and spinach, and that kind of impossible. You also need to get the macros in, the carbohydrates for everything that you train. So if I train 4, 5, 6 hours per day, and I'm just eating 300 gram carbohydrates, it's too little. And you also, if you don't have enough carbohydrates, how does your body get that fuel? Maybe you have to break down some muscle to convert those amino acids into glucose, or convert the protein you eat to glucose, or maybe some fat too. But yeah, it's not optimal, and it will create loads of stress in your body too. And the last week I've had it like that and felt so bad during the trainings. And yesterday I was thinking, fuck, Daniel, why are you so not focused, and why are you like this? And oh yeah, maybe I've been restricting everything too much, also carb-wise. And I made a bit of a carb loading yesterday in a balanced way with much more white rice. And also this breakfast with some extra fruit too before training, and I felt a massive difference in training night and day. Much more sharpness, grabbing the balls much better. I'm also a goalkeeper, so you need to have that mental perfect sharpness. And I noticed a massive difference. Also in the trainings, for example, yesterday and the day before, when I maybe haven't eaten enough, I also started sweating tons and getting this ammonia breath, ammonia smell. And that's also usually because when I undereat calorie-wise, and my body is trying to get the energy from somewhere, if it cannot get the energy from the carbs when you train really hard, and it's still like really explosive exercises, so you can't really get it from fat either, then maybe you have to break down muscle tissue or to get amino acids, to convert those amino acids to glucose, and then also ammonia in that process is created. And that's also maybe why you smell so much. Same as you can get the same ammonia smell from consuming way too much protein, and the extra protein being those amino acids being converted to glucose and then creating ammonia, or by eating too little food in general, or not having enough fuel, and that creating that ammonia breath because you are converting amino acids to glucose. So not fueling enough can create massive symptoms, especially in the brain too, and clear speech and everything. And that's why now I'm preparing some more food to really fill up my stores again for the game tomorrow. So ask yourself if you're eating enough calories and also enough carbohydrates for all that you're training. Because maybe you're like me and you are training loads, walking all the time, explosive exercises, maybe also a goalkeeper, and maybe you are not eating enough for everything. And maybe you should try some days to fill up your glycogen stores and see how you feel. The big caveat with this though is that once you have filled up the glycogen stores, maybe eating like 200-300 extra gram carbs and do it with, for example, white rice and potatoes and stuff, because also you don't want to have way too much FODMAPs because it can cause stomach problems. And white rice is lower in FODMAPs, and also if you eat all those extra carbs from high fiber foods, you maybe will get 100 gram plus fiber, and that maybe is too much. I still usually get 50, 60, 70 gram fiber, and it's a lot. But it feels good for me. But if you eat all the carbs, extra carbs from just high fiber foods, maybe you get like 150 grams of fiber, and it's too much. So try some days to fill up your glycogen stores and see how you feel if you get that really key sharpness. And also to fill up your muscle glycogen, the preferred carb source is glucose-based, because the muscle uptake glucose much better. So then it's like white rice or potatoes, sweet potatoes, and that kind of foods. And once you have filled it up, the muscle glycogen stores and your glycogen stores in general, then after it, and if you're not training really hard, then you can just be on your maintenance calories and eating balanced meals, and you will feel super sharp. But once again you have trained like super hard and depleted everything, then again you need to fill up. Because that's what happened to me every time. I fill up my glycogen stores and I feel super sharp, and I eat then balanced meals and I feel perfectly all the time. Then it goes some days and I train super hard and depleted the glycogen stores, and then I'm still eating balanced meals, and then I'm starting feeling not that wow feeling again, because my stores are much less full, and my body's sensing it too, and the brain too. And and I guess the more I use it up and have little energy, I feel it, and I have less of this crazy wow life energy that I always want to have. Like I always want to be like to maximize life and go for it. And it's a massive difference. And that's also why I keep eating balanced meals and then more and more depleted and not have that wow energy. That's why when you train really, really hard, you need to also fill up your glycogen stores if they get depleted. So you always can be that max sharpness. And that's how also the carbs are stored in the body. And when you train a lot and not eating carbs intra-workout, then you will deplete a lot too. So I really want you to think of it, and maybe if you not have that wow energy, before trying to do all of these, putting these patches on, like drinking some coffee or some energy drink to get some quick energy, maybe you should try doing something that can fix the root problem, and maybe you just are under fuel and you should fill up your glycogen stores, both liver and muscle glycogen, and that can help massively. So try it some days and see how you feel. Because maybe you get, like me, that wow feeling in the brain. I promise you, it can make a massive difference. Massive. Also, performing as a football player. In the game, especially in the second half, if I fill up my glycogen stores the day before and some days before, I still feel perfectly sharp. If I don't do it, I start getting this like not sharpness, maybe also being able to make more mistakes. So filling up your glycogen stores for your optimal performance and mental health is key. But then you don't want to overfill it way too much either, because once they are filled, then if you eat way too much carbs, way too much white rice, it can still lead to elevated blood sugar levels. So maybe you can do that like me and test your blood sugar levels to not fuck up. And also, when eating these really high carb meals as I do, walk after the meals. Walk after the meals. Because then your muscles will uptake it for glycogen. If you just sit down after a really big carb meal, your body will need to use much more insulin to put the carbs in the right places, and you will also put it there much less efficiently, and it will cause much higher blood sugar levels. So, yeah. Try doing it some days and let me know how it works. And this is also for my future self. To remind you, Daniel, I will remind you that so many of the times when you're not feeling super sharp, it's because your glycogen stores are too low, because you train so much and don't eat enough. So eat more. Eat more carbohydrates when you train a lot. Please. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will eat some more now. Bye. Peace.